Go to Lyal S. Sunga, who's an international law expert, has joined us. Sunga, we're talking about Iran's decision to, invoke the ICJ with reference to U.S. sanctions that are obviously making it very difficult for Iran to fight the COVID crisis. What do you make of this in terms of international law?
Well, I think it's a very good move by the Islamic Republic of Iran to try to solve this, issue through the peaceful settlement of disputes mechanism that you have at the United Nations. That's what the ICJ is there. And not only that, but the fact is that Iran already took United States before the ICJ back in July 2018, and the International Court of Justice held that Iran was asking for basically that the provisions of the 1955 Treaty of Amity, basically a friendship between the United States and Iran, prohibits the United States, or both parties actually, from engaging in taking any measures that limit trade and economic ties and imposing financial hardship. Now, these sanctions exactly are designed to do that, and it breaches, probably, said Iran, this treaty. And the ICJ didn't give exactly what Iran was asking for, but it actually made very clear that the United States' sanctions that affect medicine and medical equipment is in violation of this treaty. In other words, it's the legal obligations, its treaty obligations, and actually made a provisional order back in October 3rd, 2018, that the U.S. should refrain from doing that. So Iran has already won. This was even before COVID. So Iran already has won on that score in principle. But the United States has not, the Trump administration has not complied with the International Court of Justice's provisional order, which is a very serious matter. So, if the U.S. administration wants to invoke international law, it should first, abide by its own treaty obligations to Iran, because that treaty is still in force, notwithstanding Secretary of State Pompeo's noises that, we're going to withdraw from it. But that's not clear whether the White House has the power to do that, and that's a legally unclear situation of whether you need congressional approval or not. So I think it's pretty clear that, one can never be too sure, how a judgment will go, but it's already had a ruling in favor. So anything that affects humanitarian supplies, and that's what these are, or foodstuffs or medical equipment, this should be contrary to international law, and specifically this 1955 Treaty of Amity between the United States and Iran.
Absolutely. I was talking to Mr. Khushchev about this particular ICJ, provisional verdict. But before I wrap up, Mr. Sunga, just give me a sense of, so Iran's invocation of the ICJ now is something that Iran wants to build on the precedent already there at the ICJ. It seems to me that that is the case. But if the U.S. did not comply with that provisional order of the ICJ in 2018, how does Iran expect that it could pull that off now?
Well, you're right, it's a problem, and that has to do with the weakness of international laws. The ICJ cannot enforce its judgments except to the Security Council. The United States has a veto there. And so what it does do is it serves to show even more that the United States position is really, really out there. It's isolated. The EU doesn't support it. And there's been this letter on 6 April 2020 from 4 former NATO secretaries general. There was Madeleine Albright, all top diplomats, pleading the Trump administration to cease and desist from these sanctions, which are hurting the humanitarian situation of the Iranian people. And the United States has already managed to isolate itself from, by first of all withdrawing from the JCPOA in the first place, but then taking harsher measures and reimposing the sanctions, which had been lifted from the GCPOA, and then doubling down more recently. So just a final note, maybe I would say, is that on the other hand, the Iranian government probably also senses that Trump may not win the next election, and it's getting a little bit more assertive. Because Trump's political fortunes seem to be going down and down in every regard, because at least at the foreign policy level, there's been one blunder after another. So, that's also an open question there.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Lyal S. Sunga, speaking with us. Thank you also to Syed Mustafa Khoshcheshm for his insights. This is all from In Focus tonight. We shall see you tomorrow at the same time. Keep following our latest updates on social media at indus.news. Good night and goodbye.